Okay, thanks, Kristen. Good evening, everyone, and welcome council, staff, residents, and delegates to the regular council meeting for Tuesday, February the 4th, 2025, and we are being streamed live. I'll call to order at 6:30 with the land acknowledgement. We are meeting today on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within. We honor their cultures and celebrate their commitment to this land. We would also like to acknowledge the Mohawk and Algonquin nations whose traditional and unceded territory we are gathered upon today. Hastings County is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. Thank you. Next, I need a motion that the agenda for the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmor Lake for Tuesday, February the 4th, 2025 be approved as presented. Can I have a mover, Ron and Eric? Any discussion or questions? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Being none, I'll move on to the mayor's report. January 18th to the 21st, I attended the Roma conference. January the 21st, I chaired the Marmor Lake planning meeting at 5:30, and at 6:30, I chaired the regular meeting of Marmor Lake Council. January 22nd, I attended the planning and development and finance, property, and personnel meetings at Hastings County. One of the planning decisions was to recommend to County Council to approve the SPARK program. This is a program that will approve the county to provide certain planning services to the participating Hastings County municipalities. The planning and development personnel will be meeting with municipal staff to enter into an agreement regarding the services they are prepared to provide and the role of the local municipal staff. The agreement will be unique to each municipality based on its needs and current demand for services. At 1 o'clock that day, I chaired the first business meeting of the Southeast Health Unit in Kingston. The terms of reference for the Finance Committee and Governance Committee were approved, and expressions of interest were received from members of the board to sit on those committees. Those members were appointed. At the next meeting on February the 26th, chairs of those committees will be elected. January the 28th, I attended the Hastings County Council. County Council approved the recommendation of the Planning Committee and approved the SPARK program. Our staff will report to Council when the program has been determined for Marmor and Lake. January the 29th, I participated in an interview with the Ombudsman's office regarding the meeting regulations of the new Southeast Health Unit. The Ombudsman is being proactive to ensure that the meetings and agendas meet the criteria as set out in the Municipal Act as it relates to open and closed meetings and the role of the Ombudsman if there are complaints. At 2 o'clock, in conjunction with Hastings County staff and the warden, along with Councillor Daou and Tammy May, I presented a new business certificate to Remote Tax Team and County Computers Repairs and Sales. On behalf of myself and council, I thank Byron and Amanda for choosing Marmor for the business location and wish them success. That afternoon, I attended the office to sign various documents and met informally with the CAO. January 31st, I participated in a webinar training session, and it was termed Briefing for Speakers and Moderators with the Alpha organization for its winter symposium. I have been invited to be a panelist at the Alpha Symposium on February the 14th. This panel consists of the 4 new board chairs as a result of the Board of Health mergers. And today is our regular council meeting. Thank you. Next on the agenda is our delegations. And I'd like to invite Reverend Peddle and Bruce Keller from the Marmor Pentecostal and Free Methodist churches. And it's regarding fundraiser rental fee waiver request. Welcome, gentlemen. Just turn your microphone on there when you go to speak. Thank you.
All right. Don't know if I need a mic or not, but used to speaking up in church. And so we come tonight and I think we handed out a few pages there. Um, the first thing we want to do is there's a little invitation there to all of you to join us at the pancake breakfast that's going to be held in March the 1st. Then there's a letter that comes from us. And then there are two letters, one from each of our two schools in the town, just showing their support and how important the pancake breakfast is to their raising funds for the early learning program. Not going to read the letter, just going to make a few comments, but I made some notes because as a preacher, you can get going and keep going and keep going. But yeah, so myself and Pastor Bruce, I'm the pastor of the Pentecostal Church, and he's new with the Free Methodist Church. And so we've come tonight, and I think you know that we've come and centers around the annual Pancake Community Breakfast. And our letter gives details to some degree of the breakfast over the years. I'll just sum it up by saying that this will be our 14th annual breakfast that we've been hosting since we started. I believe it was 2011. And since that time, we've raised over $23,000 for different things within the community. This will be our eighth year for doing the early learning, the Food for Learning program in our two schools. And we started that back, I think, 2017. And it was so needy and well received that we've just stuck with it since then. We raise monies by the tickets that we sell for the pancake breakfast. Plus, each year there's a number of businesses and organizations and groups that come alongside. And I would think averages about 20 different groups each year that make donations. This allows us to be able to cover our costs, and then what's left from the donations plus what we raise all goes into the fundraiser and goes into the Food for Learning. I want to clarify that as the two churches that organize this, we get nothing out of this as far as funding. As a matter of fact, the reality is we put money into it to make it happen. I do want council to know, because I appreciate the fact that there are costs involved in running a community and all the buildings and the centers. And we recognize that, and we do understand that. And when it comes to myself or even Pastor Bruce, when it comes to us as churches using the facilities, we have no problems with the idea of paying the fees when we use it for ourselves, and the church benefits from that. But this is, I believe, different. This is not a church event. This is not for our benefit. This is a community event that supports our community, and every dollar goes back into the community and what is being raised for. We're just basically the folks that sponsor it and host it and to make it happen. And I believe that this kind of event and other community events that help build community spirit and as a community, when we do this and other community events similar to this, is very, and I'm sure you know this, very invaluable to the community, very important to the community. Not only it creates community spirit, but it also helps things to happen in our community that probably wouldn't otherwise happen. And for that reason, I believe I'm asking the town council, we're asking the town council that you would join us, our sponsors, the citizens, the people of this town that come out and support us, help us with this event by supporting us by waiving the fees that go with the normal fee structure for using the Lion Center or the community center. And so basically we're asked, because it is very much a community event. And that's basically it.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions of these gentlemen? Go ahead, Deary.
I'd like to put a motion on the floor if no one else has any questions. All right, I'd like to put a motion on the floor that council waive the user fee for the Marmorant Lake Community Center for Saturday, March 1st, 2025 for the Marmora Pentecostal Church Community Pancake Breakfast, and that they provide the municipality with the proof of required insurance.
Can I get a seconder? Ron? Any further discussion? Jane?
I think it's a wonderful idea. How do I word this? You mentioned the municipality as a sponsor. I like that idea. And as you know, we are fighting with ourselves, and trying to sort this out. When you're doing the pancake breakfast, if this motion goes through, is there a way to acknowledge the financial support of the municipality to help with the?
Absolutely. We do it for all the other groups. Every table has a sheet on it and lists all of our sponsors.
Okay,
And the town of Marmora can be listed as a sponsor.
yeah, because I think we're basically by waiving our fees, we're contributing
Yep.
to your fundraising, and
Yep.
I think as a sponsor, the municipality, I would like to see the municipality recognized, and then I believe it's also a step forward in us reestablishing our commitment to the community, working as a community. That's all I have to say.
If I could speak, I'd like to suggest that both Pastor Petter and myself create a letter from each of our congregations acknowledging council of their generosity. It will be posted that day in front of all the eyes of the people that will be attending this particular event. In fact, we will actually ask them to signature it, to sign it, because it's a thank you back to council. Say thank you for your consideration. You do realize this could open a can of worms for you. We get it. I understand.
Yeah.
And that's not our intent. So I think the clarity behind this is going to a great cause. In fact, I've heard these kinds of rumors in my short time here, where not only the breakfast is being served, but many lunches too, because there's no food available. And so this is extending itself even further. And it's an absolute cause that benefits our community in ways that I'm sure these parents wouldn't know what to do without this kind of support. So we do thank you, and we want to acknowledge this.
Thank you very much. That's very important. Anyone else have any comments? Eric?
I'd just like to thank you for putting on the event. I went last year. It was amazing. I thank you for your generosity in putting it on. The breakfast program is invaluable at both of the schools, and this is something that the community benefits, and that's why I can undoubtedly support your effort here, because it's the community and members of the community that are benefiting from your initiative. So thank you.
Anyone else? I'll call through. Oh, Mike, did you want to speak?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a bigger hand or a bigger wave or something. I don't know. Yeah, I think going to the kids in the breakfast program is very, very important. And I want to congratulate these two gentlemen and the church. I think it's very worthwhile, and I think it's something that we should be doing. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Anything further? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you, gentlemen, for your efforts and for your presentation.
word in closing.
Sorry?
Can I just say something in closing? I know you're in the process of doing a survey, seen that. And I just encourage you I know this is not an easy thing because once you start making some allowances, it opens the door and stuff. Just encourage you that really, I think the one area that need to consider is that when it's for the community and it's a fundraiser. The only year we've ever been charged the fees was last year. And I got to be very honest, it was a very negative feeling. We felt like we care, but council doesn't for the community. And the community is trying to do things for the community, but then the council wants to get their cut. And so that's, like I said earlier, when it comes to us as a church doing things, slap the fees on. That's for us as a church. But when it goes back to the community, I believe it says to those that are doing these things, I think it says to those that are putting all the effort in that we appreciate what you're doing, and what you're doing is important, and we recognize it as a council.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Next on the agenda is public input. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak under public input? Being none. Next, we need a motion that the foregoing minutes of the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmor Lake held Tuesday, January 21st, 2025 be approved as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Ron? Second? Jane? Any discussion on those minutes? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Next, correspondence for direction. Holly Sprung Marmor Agricultural Society, and it's regarding a fee waiver request. And I'd just like to point out that John, our CAO, is meeting with Polly on Friday to discuss our agreement with the Agricultural Society. So can I get someone to put forth a motion, Ron?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to defer this request until after our CEO has had a chance to talk to the president, and then the next meeting come back with the report to us. That sounds okay, John?
Okay, I believe our next meeting is February the 18th. Can we be specific on that date?
Yes, Your Worship.
Thank you. And just letting Chris, you'll take with the motion, Kristen? Okay. Do I get a seconder for that motion, please? Mike? Any further discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Next is the request for fairgrounds, the fee waiver request from the Marmor Pentecostal Church request. And can I get someone to make a motion regarding that request? Eric?
Sure, I'll make a motion that council waive the user fee for the Marmor Lake Fairgrounds for Friday, April 18th for the Marmor Pentecostal Church for the Journey to Jerusalem outdoor Easter presentation, and that they provide the municipality with proof of required insurance.
Can I get a seconder? Mike? Any further discussion? Eric?
Just like to point out that this is a free community event. There is no admission, and they don't expect any donation. This is something that needs a bigger space because of the success of past events and is open to the entire community.
Any further comments or questions? Kristen, do you have that? You're okay? Okay. Jane?
Is the municipality, to provide emergency support services for
You made the motion. Eric, do you want to speak to that or?
I'm not, I don't.
Um,
What, can you clarify your question?
do we have to have emergency services on standby, paramedics,
I don't think that's usually part of the request. This is not, they're not an event permit request at this point.
Okay.
But I don't,
Ron?
Maybe I can speak to this a bit. It's just a play, so there's not really no activities going on. It's just a play that you walk through. I seen the one last year, and Eric is right. They've outgrown their space, which is a good thing. But it's just basically the community can walk through and see the play, and then they're handing out stuff later. So I can't imagine in terms of it'll be quite safe.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything further? I'll call to a vote. All in favor? That's carried. Central Hastings Support Network minutes of the November 19th meeting. And the recommendation is the council receive the minutes for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Jane, second. Can I get a seconder, Eric? Any questions or discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Next, Crow Valley Conservation, and it's the January municipal brief. Whoops, sorry. And the recommendation is the council receive the brief for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Ron and Eric, any discussion on that municipal brief? Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I talked to Tim. The one that says Hastings Highlands should have been Marmarin Lake on the pie chart. That's the only difference.
Okay, anything else? All in favor? That's carried. And next is Crow Valley Conservation Authority, the 2025 draft budget. And the recommendation is the council receive the Crow Valley Conservation Authority 2025 draft budget for information. I have a mover and a seconder, please. Ron and second, Mike. Any discussion on that letter and budget? All in favor? That's carried. Marmor Crow Valley Lions Club event application 2025 Country Jamboree. And the recommendation is the council approve the event permit application submitted by Marmor Crow Valley Lions Club for the 2025 Marmor Crow Valley Country Music Jamboree to be held at the Marmor Fairgrounds, June the 12th to the 14th, 2025, and that council defer any decisions about related fee waivers until the new agreement between the municipality and the Lions Club has been approved by council. And I have a mover and a seconder. Ron? Can I get a seconder? Eric? Any discussion on that event permit application? Jane?
I have a question for the clerk. Can I abstain on this item?
Through the chair to Councillor Lakatos, abstaining, not voting essentially means you're voting no.
Okay. Anything further?
Yes. So I'm uncomfortable with deferring the funds, deferring the fees again, because we're still working on a deferral from 2024. The meeting of July 2nd, 2024, there was to be a new agreement worked on. I don't know where the agreement is sitting at, but I'm I just don't like this. It's not, I'm not against it. I don't even, I'm really on the fence. So, that's all I have to say.
Maybe I can give you a bit of an update. Jane, we have met with the Lions Club. And we've given our comments and they've given their comments, and we're in the process of drafting the agreement, and we'll be meeting with them again in the very near future. And as you know, we've got a survey that's currently active regarding fees. And so that will all be part of the consideration in the new agreement.
Okay, so this is the other part I'm wrestling with. This survey, does it include the Lions because they have their own agreement? Or is the survey just for local community groups?
Through your mayor too. The survey actually is out there with the idea of looking at asking a number of questions. We're looking at user fees in its totality, in the sense of looking at that. Specifically, it is not focused on the Lions agreement. I think what the mayor, I won't speak for the mayor, but I think what the mayor was indicating that, well, as we're looking at this issue, as council is looking at user fees, there are some organizations that have agreements, and there are some that are sort of come forward and go forward like we had early on tonight. The Lions Club in this particular one is not tied to that one. However, as the mayor indicated, we have had one meeting doing some final costing to be taken into consideration. Pardon me, so that we have the meeting with the Lions Club, and we'll be drafting that, and that will come to council. My hope is that we'll have that meeting in February in the next short while, and that we can come to an agreement to bring that forward. Any outstanding matters would be probably best viewed in the context of what that new agreement would be, and also bringing forward to council that if there were any outstanding invoices in light of that new agreement, then that would be up to council to decide how they wish to deal with that once they have that agreement in place. I hope that helps.
Doesn't help my head.
Thank you, John. So are there any other comments?
Just,
So go ahead, Mike.
well, in this one, we aren't waiving them or charging them. We're just deferring it till we get this thing back. So, you know, whether we pass this or not is irrelevant right at the moment until as John says, the report comes back on the agreements that are going forward. Because it could be like the Fair Board agreement. They have X number of days, you know, from the past. So, you know, Jane's got a bunch of good points, but right at the moment, all we're doing right now is basically deferring this till we do get it settled.
That's right. Thanks, Mike. Ron?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if a part of this is so they can get their booking started ahead of time, because it takes a long time to get the bookings done. So I think what they want to do is get this done in place so they can start their bookings up. I would think that's what it is.
I would think so. Thank you. Any other comments? All in favor? That's carried. Next, Town of Aurora, a Correspondence Sustainable Infrastructure Funding Resolution. Jane, I'll ask you to
Read the whole thing,
please.
okay. Town of Aurora, Sustainable Infrastructure Funding Resolution, Town of Aurora Sustainable Infrastructure, oh, same line, sorry. Recommendation that the municipality of Marmor and Lake Council support the resolution made by the Town of Aurora regarding sustainable infrastructure funding for municipalities. And that council formally requests that the provincial government consider redistributing a portion of the land transfer tax collected on property transactions to municipalities, and that council call on the federal government to allocate a % of the GST collected on property sales to municipalities. And that this redistribution of the land transfer tax and GST be structured to provide predictable and sustainable funding to municipalities, allowing for better long-term planning and investment in infrastructure projects that benefit local communities, thus ensuring that local governments receive a fair share of the revenue to address critical infrastructure needs. And further that, council directs staff to circulate this resolution to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Premier Doug Ford, and Ontario Minister of Finance. The Ontario Minister of Finance, the Ontario Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, local members of Parliament, MPs, and members of Provincial Parliament, MPPs, and the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM, and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder for that recommendation? Eric, any discussion? Mike?
I think we should tack in there too. I know that on tax sales, any excess money that we get on a tax sale doesn't go to the municipality, it goes to the province, which again, I don't think is fair. It's just another, we do all the work and somebody else is getting all our money and they're not distributing it back to us.
Mike, I think this is asking for an endorsement of this recommendation.
I understand that. I'm just making the point that it's not the only thing that they take from us.
But you could make a separate motion if you wish to make a separate motion that that correspondence be created if you wish to do that. But right, it's just on this recommendation.
I do believe one went out there a few months ago or last year regarding tax sales.
Okay.
And we still don't get the money.
So we have a mover and a seconder. Any further discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Next, we're going to, does anybody have any announcements? Eric?
Thank you. So I have a couple announcements and reminder of a couple upcoming events. The first announcement, I'd like to thank all those residents who have already completed the municipal facility rental survey. This is a very important issue for our community and your feedback is extremely important. If you haven't had a chance to complete the survey yet, you can still do so until February 12th. Please see the link on the Marmorant Lake website or the Marmorant Lake Facebook page. Paper copies are also available at Town Hall or the library. If you have further comments or would like to provide further feedback, a reminder, you also have a few options. You can get in touch with any or all members of council via email, phone, or by meeting any of us in person. You can come forward to council and speak as a delegation. You can come forward to council and speak under public input when the results come forward on the agenda, as well as you can also submit a letter to the clerk that can be included in correspondence in the agenda. So please, if you have other opinions outside of the survey or want to share feedback, don't be shy to bring that forward in one of those methods. A couple upcoming events in the community. There's a craft and vendor show hosted by the Marmora Fair Board and the Agricultural Society on Saturday, February 15th from 10 till 4 at the Marmora Community Center. I hear they have a lot of vendors already signed up, so that should be a great turnout. Fudge's Freezing for a Reason Polar Plunge is taking place February 16th on Sunday at 1 p.m. start time. I'd invite all residents to come and check that out and watch all the dippers. And if you have some extra money, consider donating to some of the people making the plunge. On Family Day, there's an event hosted by the Marmora Crow Valley Lions and Marmora's Community Event Group. That's February 17th from 11 till 3 at the Marmora Community Center. The Marmorant Lake also has their summer job and summer positions posted. Those are available for youth age 15 to 30. The municipality is looking for 2 laborers in the roads department and 1 economic development assistant. You can find that information on the Marmorant Lake website under the career tab. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. We now are going to move into closed session. And the motion is that council will proceed into a closed meeting session under the Municipal Act, Section 239(2). F, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose regarding Riverside Pines. And litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board regarding a legal update. And B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees regarding the 2025 Senior of the Year nominations. So can I get a mover and a seconder? Ron and Eric? All in favor? That's carried. We'll give Kristen a minute here to get us